At the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to the protagonist, Yulia. Ever since the death of her mother, she feels a sort of loneliness that her father alone cannot soothe. Her father is one of the leaders in the Russian military, and befitting his status, he is someone who is very stern, which makes Yulia unable to grow close to him. One day, the scientists predict a meteor shower that will closely pass by Earth. The world is buzzing about the phenomenon on the day of the meteor shower. It is the topic of everyone's conversation at Yulia's school as well. When her best friend invites her to watch the meteor shower together, Yulia gladly agrees. But when she brings up the topic to her father, he immediately refuses to let her go for her own safety. She is annoyed at his overprotectiveness, but she cannot argue against him, so she reluctantly agrees. While she is feeling down, Yulia gets a call from her boyfriend, Artyom. He is someone who leads a rough lifestyle, often getting into fights and causing trouble. He is not concerned about breaking a few rules, so he encourages Yulia to sneak out while her dad is away at work. She agrees to this idea and slips into his car the moment her father leaves. The two of them meet up with Yulia's best friend, who invites them to the roof of her apartment building so they have a clear view of the meteor shower. Her best friend is eager to see the shower, but the pair of lovers cannot seem to keep their hands off of each other. Annoyed, she thrusts her house keys at Yulia and sends the two of them to her apartment for a different kind of shower. While Artyom and Yulia are tumbling in bed, her father's military base is in complete disarray. While traveling through the solar system, an alien spaceship is damaged by the meteor shower and starts falling towards the Earth. But the military mistakes the spaceship as a NATO military aircraft and launches missiles to shoot it down. The spaceship crashes in the middle of the city, laying waste to several buildings in the process and killing countless people. The spaceship also scrapes off the top of the building Yulia is in, and she and Artyom barely manage to survive. This wasn't the tip explosion they were expecting. Yulia's best friend, however, who was at the top of the building, dies from the impact. The world instantly descends into chaos. The news of the massive spaceship crashing in the middle of Moscow spreads like wildfire, and all the leaders of the world hold an emergency meeting in their countries. Yulia's father, Colonel Lebedev, is given the dangerous task to inspect the spaceship, while a team of snipers remain on standby in case anything goes wrong. Before he can get close, his path is blocked by a large alien creature. The alien does not seem to be violent, so he orders the snipers to not make a move while he attempts to communicate with it. The next day, Colonel Lebedev gives his report in a meeting hall filled with all the important government personnel. He states that the alien creatures are non-violent and only wish to repair their spaceship before heading back to their own planet, so the best course of action would be to just observe them from a distance. Following the government decision of non-aggression, the area around the spaceship is quickly evacuated and then closed off, and soon the city begins to operate as usual. Yulia's life has not changed too noticeably. The only difference is that she now lives with her grandmother, and she is escorted to school by a military bus every day. But while trying to live as normal, the thought of her best friend becoming a spaceship ornament is still very heartbreaking. The same goes for the rest of the general public who have lost their loved ones in the destruction. Soon the sorrow turns into anger against the aliens who have invaded their home and killed their people. Yulia decides that she cannot just sit here and wait for the aliens to make a move against them. Determined to fight against the creatures and avenge her best friend, she steals her father's gun before heading to Artyom's hideout. She joins up with Artyom and his friends in order to sneak into the crash site to investigate by themselves. While they look through the ruined buildings, Yulia suddenly comes across an alien. In a panic, she shoots at it, but she loses her footing in the process and almost falls down from the building. Surprisingly, it is the alien who saves her and pulls her back up to safety. Right then, Artyom and his friends also arrive at the scene and start attacking it. Before Yulia has the chance to stop them, the alien falls several stories down to the floor. The group also quickly descend down to find that the alien is bleeding red blood. It turns out that the alien was just wearing armor, and its real body is actually indistinguishable from a normal human man. The group does not care about this revelation and just focus on retrieving the armor before the army patrol finds them. That night, Yulia does not have a peaceful sleep because of her guilt, so the next morning, she heads to the crash site on her own and manages to take the alien away with her. The alien man is in need of immediate medical care, but she cannot take him to a hospital as they are sure to send him to the military. So instead, she sneaks into a hospital with the help of her nerdy classmate and helps the alien with what little knowledge of medicine her classmate has. During the treatment process, the alien briefly wakes up and grabs Yulia's hand all of a sudden. She quickly shakes him off, but she notices that a bracelet has formed on her wrist. While taking a shower, Yulia notices that the bracelet is able to manipulate water as she watches in fascination the water swirling around. At this time, the military retrieves an unknown alien device which is also able to manipulate water. As the river in Moscow dries up overnight, the military scientists make a discovery that the alien spaceship has the ability to attract water like a magnet, and through the use of water, it has already started repairing itself. In another place, the alien wakes up and introduces himself as Heken, and that he needs a device called Shilk in order to get back to his planet. Yulia does not plan to help him nor house him. As she has saved his life, she considers her debt to him paid off, and then promptly kicks him out of her place. While he walks through the city without a clear destination in search of Shilk, Yulia realizes that she should not have thrown him out so recklessly. She runs out to find him again, but he is already arrested by the police, who mistake him for a drug addict. Who am I kidding? They're on a power trip. At the same time, Artyom is fiddling around with the alien armor when he notices that it is too dangerous to be hidden in his garage. He arranges a meeting place with Colonel Lebedev in order to hand over the armor and drives to the location. The place is swarmed by civilians who are arguing against the military because the government has started rationing water. Soon the argument escalates into a fight, so Artyom quickly steps in to act as a mediator and tries to stop a full-blown riot from happening. His effort goes to waste as he is hit in the head by a police baton and then arrested. Colonel Lebedev finds him as he is being stuffed into a military vehicle and does not try to help him. This causes Artyom to change his mind about handing over the armor to the military as he becomes increasingly dissatisfied with how they are handling things. At the police station, Yulia bails out Heken by the authority of her father, and using the same authority, she takes Heken to his father's workplace in order to help him retrieve Shilk. She lies about being pregnant with Heken's child as a distraction to steal her father's ID card. She sneakily hands over the card to Heken before he makes his way down to the lab in a disguise to take back Shilk from its container. Seeing him effortlessly manipulate the alien device, the people quickly realize that he is not Colonel Lebedev. As the military base goes into lockdown because of the breach of security, Heken is able to escape along with Yulia without anyone finding out that they are the culprits. She takes him back to her home for now, as it is too dangerous to sneak into the restricted zone in broad daylight. While they wait for night to fall, Heken tries to adapt to the human culture of eating and the way of speaking. He is fascinated to see her sick dog because on his planet, they have no concept of sickness or death. As he heals the dog, the military broadcasts an urgent announcement. They have found out that Heken is the one responsible for stealing Shilk and declare him as a wanted criminal. As soon as they see the news, the two of them escape to a concert where it is unlikely for the army to come searching for him. As they blend into the crowd, Heken shows Yulia a vision of his home planet. He also reveals that they are not allowed to bring the humans to their planet or share their technology because of some strict protocols. By the time the concert ends, it is already starting to get dark, so Yulia sends him off with a kiss to find his spaceship. Suddenly, Artyom appears with his friends and starts beating him up. Heken endures all the attacks and even lets the Shilk be taken, but things change when Artyom strikes Yulia. Seeing her hurt, Hacken starts fighting back and easily overpowers them when the fight tilts to his favor. Artyom's friend pulls out a gun, but it ends up hitting one of his buddies instead, killing him on the spot. Hearing the commotion, a military truck drives to the location, causing Artyom and his friends to quickly flee from the scene. As Hacken and Yulia get arrested, Artyom decides to pin the blame of his friend's death on the aliens and set up an uprising. He posts all over the internet and prints out flyers in order to gather more people for his cause. And soon, he manages to rally a large group of supporters to attack the alien spaceship and chase them away from the Earth, which the aliens would have done anyway. The group of rioters break through the police barricade and run to attack the spaceship. This triggers several robotic suits to rush out and fight against them to protect their ship. Colonel Lebedev is given the authority to handle this mayhem, and his decision is to use the military weapons to deal with the aliens. Yulia desperately tries to convince him to just let Hacken go to the spaceship with a shilk. She knows that everything will soon become peaceful this way, but her father is adamant to follow his own methods. Left with no other choice, she pulls a gun against her head and threatens him with her own life. Unwilling to harm his daughter, he lets her take Hacken away while he follows closely behind with the troops. While Yulia and Hacken are driving to the spaceship, they are attacked by Artyom, who has put on the alien armor. He angrily rampages around until Yulia rams the truck right into him and manages to trap him. But Artyom is not done yet. He forces himself out of the suit and grabs an assault rifle lying on the ground. Overcome with rage, he shoots down both Hacken and Yulia before he is apprehended by the army. Colonel Lebedev feels helpless seeing her daughter on her last breaths, but the aliens seem to have an idea. They carry Hacken and Yulia into the spaceship while Lebedev follows along with them. The two of them are put inside pods, which uses water to nurse their injuries while an AI talks to Lebedev. It explains that their kind are not allowed to contact the human race, as the humans have a very violent social behavior. Hacken was just meant to observe and determine if the humans were ready for interstellar contact. The study has already determined that the Earth is not ready. However, Yulia's deep love for Hacken may be able to override the results into something positive. After Yulia is resurrected, the spaceship carries away Hacken and flies off into space after releasing all the excess water it had gathered from the Earth. A few weeks go by and the days return to normal. Yulia is on a grassy field, looking up at the stars, reminiscing about Hacken, who had more faith in humanity than humanity had faith in themselves. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.